Maurice Nicol's Psychological Commentary, Volume 5, Amwell, August 8th, 1953. Growth of Essence. Whatever you change in essence through development of it is not lost, but remains with you. You may live and die without any changes taking place in essence. That is to say, you are born with a certain kind of essence, and after a time, personality is formed round it, and nothing else happens. The essence remains the same and undergoes no development beyond early life. What is acquired in personality is not transmitted to essence. The essence is not continuous with the personality. A development of the personality does not mean a development of essence. We think of our development as continuous from the earliest years, but this is not the case from the work point of view. The essence grows a little way and then stops growing. The personality then begins to be formed and surrounds the essence like a shell. You may ask yourself, how can I make essence grow in me beyond its natural point? How can I really change my essence through development so that when my essence recurs and attracts a body to itself, my life will be different from what it was previously? In other words, how can I produce a permanent change in myself that cannot be taken away from me? Since the essence is the central thing, to ask this question is the same as saying, how can I produce a change in my internal nature that is real and not merely acquire what is on the surface as is personality? It is this question of an inner change that constitutes the problem. First there is the essence, then there is the personality, and finally there should be the development of essence through what has been acquired in the personality. The essence is the internal part of us. The personality is the temporal part of us. Life does not develop essence beyond a certain point. Then it develops personality. First of all, I learned this work in personality. How can I make this work cause essence to grow? I may know the work and even make a point of studying the diagrams. Yes, but do I will the work? If I do not will the work, how can what is most essential in me ever change and become a permanent part of my being? To know and to be are quite different. For my knowledge of this work to become being can only result from willing it. And you only will what you really value and love. So therefore, if I do not feel any love, I will not will the work. If I do not will the work, even though I know it, nothing will happen. I will only remember it, but I will not love to live it. So I will not understand the work. Now, the most artificial thing in us is the false personality. That is why it is called false personality. False personality makes us do all sorts of unreal things. We strive for social prominence. We strive for display, for being thought well of, for being first, and so on. How can we expect any aim arising from false personality to influence the essence to the extent of making it develop? Surely there is something there that we do not reflect on sufficiently. If I want to be preeminent in this work, to show off, and to have no genuine feeling of need for it, how can it change my essence? How can anything that springs only from the vanity of self-love change my essence? I may pretend to do many virtues for display, but if there is nothing real and sincere in me, how can my real, untutored essence develop? The child sees through me. You cannot suppose that essence develops through what is unreal. If I do things to be seen of men only, then I am not really doing them. You can see each for yourselves how everything can be done for show and from no internal feeling of it. If you reflect on this, you will be able to see how there is discontinuity between essence and personality. You will also see how the personality, being discontinuous with the essence, can be made passive and with the result that essence becomes active. This would not be the case if they were continuous. Essence and personality are two different things. The work moves inwards. It falls on the outer psychology, on the outer man in yourself. If it is received and appreciated, its action is to penetrate inwards to the inner man and transform him. Then you will not abstain from stealing, say, because you fear being found out, but because you dislike stealing. We spoke of all this when considering outer, middle, and inner divisions of centers. At each inward movement of the work, at each deepening of the work in your understanding, it is as if you had to begin again. You become aware that you had got things wrong. The work and yourself. You mixed it up with this amazing conceit common in all of us subhumans. The stages of the work are as if at intervals you had to be put under another and sterner master, as if you moved up from one form at school to another where things were no longer at play, but beginning to be real. Some definite things have got to be done apparently, such as not getting angry with waiters or bus conductors. It is possible then that you are down on this planet to learn about yourself. This is a good thought to have. Do you mean I am not all right, or at least rather exceptional? Yes, that is what is meant. You are tiresome and stupid, like the rest. Here we get offended. An effective barrier. In the Gospels, people are always getting offended. They were sure they were all right. Now, the work goes in stages or levels, layer by layer, and it is certainly difficult to take the work more deeply into oneself without a great deal of perplexity and thought and sincerity. It is just here that people get stuck. They begin to see that they have been doing the work from self-love and not from love of the work. And unless they're capable of great honesty with themselves, they may not be able to find deeper reasons and emotions for continuing to work on themselves. We may take it for granted that anything unreal, anything false, anything that is mere pretense will not affect the development of essence. However, everything that you have done genuinely, as far as you can, will come to help you in these moments of temptation, which are bound to occur when the necessity of deepening our understanding of the work is encountered. This is where work memory especially comes in. Eyes that wish the work in you together form your work will, whereas eyes that do not wish to work form your life will. Some eyes are on the wrong side. Never make the mistake of thinking that only stupid eyes can be work eyes. We are told that to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. You have two things, the power of thinking and the power of willing. If you never really think about the work, of course, nothing is possible. You must remember also that what is thought about but is not in your will is not real in you, because it leads to no action and therefore cannot affect essence. It is not in your life. If you have no appreciation of the work and its ideas, viewpoints, and teaching, how do you expect essence to be affected by it? I've often told you that there is great beauty in this work. Do you know that the beauty powerfully affects essence? Supposing you see nothing beautiful in the formulations of this work, do you think it will make essence develop? Do you think that a person who constantly practices painting or the piano feels nothing but beauty in nature or music will remember next time so in reoccurrence, as so many musicians and artists appear to have? Do you think that he will begin to remember any earlier? How can he? He cannot, any more than if he thought about music or painting only and never willed to practice it? For what is in the thought and the will and terminates in action enters and remains in your life. But what you think and do not only will pass away because it has no termination in action. In this connection, I do not see how a religion that is harsh and grim and backed by fear can make essence develop. I am convinced that many dreadful mistakes are made here. In the light of the high descent of essence from the level of galaxy, is it surprising that what is beautiful influences it unforgettably? Therefore, let us keep the work beautiful in heart and mind so that it reaches essence in us.